What if the biggest threat to your retirement portfolio aren't the markets, but your own behavior? Hey there, this is Craig Weir. Say welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'd like to show you those three biggest portfolio risks that most investors are overlooking and maybe how you can avoid them with some simple, smart strategies. We don't manage client assets any longer. I haven't done that for quite a while. We don't sell financial products, but this is a subject I've got a little bit of experience with. For 32 years, I had kind of a traditional financial planning business where we did manage clients' assets and got paid fees to do that. And so I learned a lot through 32 years. I'm going to share some of those things with you. I want to give you a little bit of an idea of how you can avoid making some of the biggest mistakes that I watch people who have investment portfolios make. So Q3 Advisors is a registered investment advisor, but as you probably know, we mainly focus on just planning, whether it's tax planning and Roth conversions or comprehensive planning or specific topical types of consulting that we do. We are total fiduciaries, but we are an unusual fiduciary in that we do not have any conflicts of interest that we have to disclose to you. So there's no fees coming from anywhere else, no commissions, none of that kind of stuff. At one point, I had several $100 million that I managed of other people's money, so I know a little bit about the subject. So let's dig in. Risk number one is really, it's pretty obvious, and you probably will recognize it, but it's hard to actually do something about it, and that is emotional decision-making. So the big problem is that market volatility tempts us to buy high and to sell low. One of the stats that I found is a third-party organization called Dalbar. They reported that the average investor underperformed the S&P 500 by 5.5% during the year 2023. And that's not uncommon. Many years, most average investors underperform the S&P. I need you to understand the impact on getting less return than what you really should be getting. If you have $1 million invested, you could lose nearly $1 million of what should have been gains over time due to emotional errors that lead to just a 1% annual return. So if over the next 20 years you get 1% less than what you should be getting, it could mean as much as $1 million difference to you. So what are the solutions to this emotional stuff? Just stick to a written and agreed upon strategy. Whatever your strategy started out, what you wanted to accomplish, stick with it. I mean, everybody that listens to my videos on our channel are normally old enough to understand the markets go up and down, and most of you probably do nothing about it. That could be the right strategy, but as we go through, I'll show you some other mistakes that people make that they really just don't think about. But stick to the written plan, work with an advisor to kind of stay accountable to that. Most advisors will try to talk you off the ledge when something is going wrong. Sometimes they're talking you off the ledge when really you need to be making some changes. So the second biggest risk is really the hidden cost of fees. Fees seem really small, but they quietly erode long-term wealth, just like not getting the returns that you probably should. And when the markets are doing great, who cares about fees? If you made 18, 20%, you don't really care what happened. But over time, you're losing what you could have captured in other directions. And I could go a lot of different directions on that conversation, but you want to make sure that you're getting the best that you can from the fees that you're paying, wherever it is. And there's two kinds of fees. There's the fees that are the cost of the investments themselves. So exchange traded funds or mutual funds or separately managed accounts, anywhere from maybe 0.03% to 1.5% is typically what's out there in the ETF and mutual fund world. And then you have any fee that's laid on top of that your investment advisor charges you. And that could be as little as 0.5% to maybe 1% is fairly normal. There are a few other firms that charge more than that, but for the most part, most everybody's between 0.5% and 1%. I'm going to throw up a chart here that I want you to look at that shows you the impact of the difference in a $1 million portfolio over, say, a 30-year period of time between 0.1%, 1%, and 2% fee levels over that period of time. So as you can see on the chart, a 0.1% of 1% cost of fees costs you $270,000 of lost value. A 1% fee costs you 1.79% $1.79 million of lost value, and a 2% costs you $3.2 million of lost value. It used to be that you really needed an advisor to add value, and they added acumen and special knowledge and special access. I'm not really sure that you need that anymore when you start looking at the history of what managers really do. But if nothing else, I'd suggest that you use low-cost exchange-traded funds and that you maybe audit your advisor's value that they're given to you, just to know what that is and to feel confident and comfortable with the fact that they are creating value, or maybe they're lagging in one way and it's okay because of some other reason that you might have. But just the other thing is just really consider fee efficient models. Robo advisors are out there and they're creating some really good rates of return. The other that you can do is just stick it into like an S&P 500 index or a large cap index, and just, if it's hard for a manager to beat the S&P, then just owning the S&P without the added fees is probably not a bad deal, especially if you have the emotional strength to go through the ups and the downs and just leave it alone and not mess with it, if that's what you choose to do. So risk number 3 is underperformance of your managers, and whether that's the manager of the actively managed mutual fund or separately managed account or your investment advisor. Most advisors simply do not outperform the market consistently. They may have a year where they just knock the ball out of the park, but over a long period of time, very few, in fact, only 10 to 15% of all managers will outperform the S&P over a 10-year period of time. I mean, even the great mutual funds like Fidelity Magellan and the Oakmark Fund had just specific time frames where they had great success, and then they struggled other areas. And the reason that these, whether it be investment advisors or fund managers, there are a couple, maybe 3 reasons why they struggle to beat the market. One is they have trading costs and they have operating expenses that cause them to have the fee structure that they have. They hire people, they have software, they have trading costs, all those kinds of things. The second reason is just as simple as market efficiency. By the time news gets to a manager, everyone else has the same information. And so technology is so fast and information is so fast these days, it's really tough for somebody to take action in an area that somebody doesn't already know about. And then there's another thing that we see occasionally, and that's what's called survivorship basis, which is really when poor performing funds are shut down so as not to skew real historical performance. So they basically shut it down so they don't look bad. So maybe a better path for you to look at that way is maybe favor low-cost ETFs for very broad exposure through different indexes. And there's a lot of places you can get samples of portfolio allocations that work with your risk tolerances, but you end up with lower costs and you got a lot of transparency. Or even consider using individual stocks selectively, especially if you have assets that are sitting in non-IRA, non-deferred accounts. You can get some tax advantages. You can use it to your advantage there. A lot of people ask, should I switch managers? Should I fire this firm? Do I need a different fund? And all I can say is don't switch based on emotional reasons or even recent underperformance. Any manager is subject to underperformance over the course of a year. So what you want to look at, I've got really a list of 3 things that I would suggest that you look at if you really determine that you want to make a move. Number 1, you want to see if they have consistent underperformance versus some benchmark. Call it the S&P 500 or whatever your portfolio is most like. If they underperform for a year, I wouldn't worry about it. It happens, just like they'll outperform over a year, and that's not the reason to throw all your money at them. But if they consistently over a 3-year period or a 4 or 5-year period, if they consistently are underperforming, you probably need a different manager. If the fees that they're charging are inefficient compared to what you could get someplace else and get the same return, that's probably another reason. Or if they move into different strategies, it's called strategy drift. If they start off saying they're going to be real defensive, but they see the market really cranking up, and so they just gradually shift more money into technology or something like that. Now you have got kind of a moving the goalpost type of thing. So that whole area is something that you maybe look at, the fees and the strategy drift. And then the third one would be just if they don't have a transparent system to you, or if there's a lot of turnover on the team and the team are the ones that are producing the results, then you probably need to make yourself ready to make a change. But remember, chasing performance usually backfires. A lot of people pick last year's best sector and to invest in when the sectors change every single year of the performance. There's a couple dozen different sectors of the market that can be carved out into ETFs or something like that. And a lot of people like to chase, what was the best one last year? I'll go there. And invariably, that's not going to be the best one next year, right? So what can you do today to evaluate your current strategy? I would just say you need to figure out if you're overpaying. You need to figure out what your real return is and how it compares with what you should have gotten. And you need to figure out, are your funds aligned? Is the portfolio aligned with the goals that you have? And is the manager prepared to make changes in different economic conditions? We at Q3 Advisors, we offer an independent evaluation. Remember, we don't want to manage your money. We don't want to divorce you from your current investment advisor. We just want to provide something that not very many people get, and that is an independent evaluation. Typically, an investment advisor will certainly do an evaluation. Very seldom are they going to tell you, we are too heavy here and our fees are too high for the return you're getting. We like to provide these unbiased analysis, totally given to you by somebody that is totally independent of the circumstances. We don't want you to leave your investment advisor unless you have a good reason that you need to leave them. Mainly what we want to do is we want to tell you if your manager is doing a great job or where there may be room for them to improve. So we're going to give you talking points for a conversation that you can have with them and the backup material to make the discussion productive and not combative at all. If you have any interest in getting that kind of an independent fiduciary evaluation, go to our website at q3adv.com. We'll put links down below and just schedule an initial conversation to learn about what we do and what you might get out of it. No strings attached. Just see what's out there, and then one of our CFPs can help you decide if the service is going to be of some benefit or not, or maybe there's another area that we can be of some help in. But sometimes some really small tweaks, like reducing your fees or improving allocations, can make a massive difference. So if you're serious about maximizing your retirement strategy and you're tired of leaving future money on the table with unnecessary taxes, we got two options for you. First, click the link below and watch our exclusive on-demand webinar. It's packed with a lot of actionable strategies that I'm going to share with you and real-world examples. It's going to help you maximize your own personal retirement strategy with a properly executed Roth conversion game plan. And if you're ready to take a step further, schedule a free strategy call with our team. We're going to walk you through how to apply the strategies to your unique situation, show you the exact steps to protect your wealth, minimize your tax burden, and we're going to set yourself up for long-term financial success. So whether you watch the webinar, book a call, or both, don't put off this one thing that's very important. Every day you delay could cost you thousands and thousands in additional income tax. So don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive on retirement tax planning. Take care. Have a great day.